Hi everyone, it's the English Simmer here, and we just got the first drop of the September to December quarterly teaser, and it is of course the two brand new kits. These include the Storybook Nursery Kit, which is a collaboration with Sixum CC, and then also the Artist Studio Kit. So let's have a look at all the items and also do a little bit of testing to see what came with them. It's a little bit annoying that the default swatch for the nursery kit is actually all black because I think it makes like the details harder to see, but these are all the items that came with the nursery kit. Obviously we do have the pleasant view backdrop in a wallpaper. This is actually the only like build mode asset that we got in this kit. A Sims 2 world where the Goths resided. It's also where the Pleasants resided and the Calientes, Don Lothario. This is where a lot of the main Sims 2 drama was happening. Outside of Strangetown, 3 new sleeping arrangements. So this actually looks like a classic pram, but it is actually a bassinet. And also there is a sneaky little reference. A beautiful gift from Aunt Agnes. I'm going to assume that means Agnes Crumplebottom. I'm not sure if there was maybe an Agnes in the like goth bachelor lineage at all. I have to say I'm not scrubbed up on my Sims 2 lore. This can actually be used by newborns. That's what all the bassinets say. So unfortunately no wheels, it's not movable, it's not a pram, it's not a buggy. However, you can use it as a bassinet. Then obviously for the next life stage up, we have the cot, which is available for infants. Kind of glad that we have like a fancier cot. Feel like we don't really have a cot like this. I mean, this was kind of the fanciest one that we had, and even that was pretty like basic. The bows are extremely one-dimensional. I'm not a massive fan of the pattern that they've gone with like these leaves, but I guess it does look like very Victorian, very ornate. And then finally there is a toddler bed. So unfortunately no matching kids bed, which I kind of wish there was. I know this is a nursery, but it does also like fit the vibes of a kid's room, especially like a gothic baby kid's room. So kind of disappointed that there's not a children's bed in the same sort of style. I also feel like we don't have many beds that look like this. It could kind of be princessy. I've always said that kids' rooms are lacking when it comes to theming. Then we have this dresser, which is actually really nice. I feel like we don't have a lot of this for like kids' rooms or nurseries, so it's quite nice to see. Although I will say there is like a little glitch on this, so I don't know if you can even see it. It's like a hairline, but it looks like it gets really elongated when you're kind of moving around. It's very minor, but I thought I would point it out because, not gonna lie, it was one of the first things that I noticed. And obviously this goes like quite well with all the other furniture that we have. They do have a couple of matching swatches. Missing out on the green though. For me, this is also glitching out on the image, and it's glitching out on like every color swatch, so it's kind of just showing the hangers, it's not showing the clothes. But you kind of have a bunch of onesies, some joggers. You do have green on the clothes, so fear not. Then we have this bedside table nightstand. I actually really love this rocking chair. Again, is that technically? Yes. Okay. There is a green on this, which I'm thankful for because it matches a lot of the other soft furnishings. I really love the crimping that they've gone for. I imagine I'm gonna actually use this one a fair bit. I kind of do wish that they had some more plain swatches without the sort of like gothic flowering on it. There is a white one, but there's not a black one that's plain. A shelf that has some little like memory boxes, tissues, and then also like this drawer full of nappies. I'm assuming that you can actually put stuff up on to this shelf. This one has a couple of different spaces that you can place some of the new assets that we have. You can put a little lamp on there if you want to. Some new curtains. Unfortunately, there is only one height available when it comes to these curtains. A storytime bookcase, which actually weirdly has Bella Goth's face on it. Sorry if you are not a goth, but your baby has decided to not the abduction book. Now I kind of see why Bella is there. I kind of wish she was more of like a drawing rather than like her old sim, just because I feel like a little like illustration would fit in more with like a kid's book if they did want to do like a Bella reference. This little canopy, which is really, really cute. This can obviously be used actually over the bassinet. I kind of want to turn move objects off so that we can see actually how this lines up. Oh, does this have to stick to a wall with move objects off? It doesn't clip through the wall, which I was concerned about, so that's quite nice. And then obviously you can place your little bassinet through that. I guess it does kind of make sense because it's like it's tied, like pinned against the wall, which is probably also safer for the babies. But obviously if you turn move objects back on, you can just like guide that around the place using Alt and place it anywhere. A playmat that has a little gnome, a plum bob, a llama, and also a cheeky little UFO. I do like these little references to like Bella Goth's disappearance and like The Sims 2 lore. I think it's really, really cute that they decided to include that. This is a little toy box, kind of your like classic ornate toy box. This is the house over here that the Goths live in The Sims 4, and then this is its mini size down version, although you will notice there is a little graveyard and mausoleum outside this one, where that actually doesn't exist in The Sims 4, so I guess we'll have to wait and see to perhaps life and death to see if we can make this an actual thing that can happen outside the Goth house. I mentioned that in a video when these got announced, and some people did say that every other Goth house that we have in previous Sims games does in fact have a graveyard outside it, but obviously children can play with this. Then we have a baby changing table. You can change clothes here, you can also change nappies. This little llama light, some different patterns on some of these soft furnishings. You still have the kind of like Gothic fan flares, but then you have these other like scalloped fans on some of these swatches. There is the baby infant photo, which is a little weird, I will say, because it is just like generic random babies, unless you specifically make your infant look like one of these. Mary Poppins bag filled with a bunch of things. I thought that this was going to be a Dodie pacifier because this little newborn has a pacifier over here, but it is in fact just a bottle. A rug just to match the other soft furnishings. Oh, you have like the circus swatch and then these wild animal swatches. This little like party one, I really love those. The flower one is stunning as well. Those are some of my favorite assets. I kind of like the divergence away from like Gothic just for those. This little circus car, which also has the Grim Bunny in it. This little bunny like almost holding the scythe. Definitely a little head nod to life and death and the Grim Reaper. New blocks, weirdly I can't use the design tool on them, which I find bizarre, but there are different color variations. You also have a plainer swatch for your sad beige babies, whereas these ones kind of have like a circus tent, a llama, a plum bob, and a little hot air balloon. And finally this little plushie, which one of them is dressed like Bella, and then I think my favorite is this. I know it's like meant to be a possum, but it looks like a rat and therefore I love it. I forgot to mention these two, but there's this chandelier, which is all teardrop chandelier, and then a mobile. This doesn't work, like this isn't a usable mobile, but again, drawing on those pleasant view vibes. I've taken growing together out of my game, hence why my infant has been shaved, but we're gonna go put Tristan down on this little playmat. I'm assuming assuming if we do have growing together installed, they can still like reach up and do the things that they can do. They can look at toys, play with toys, and try to go night-night. So pretty much everything that they can do in growing together, but obviously it's not tied to the milestones. He was already set up, whereas if you're playing with growing together and your infant hasn't learned to like sit up or hold themselves up, then they can only start out with like looking at the toys and trying to grab them, and then that leads them through the milestones. They can get their outfit changed and also their nappy changed. You can also upgrade this to have security straps. The dresser actually isn't usable itself. However, if you click on the clothes, you can either like change your outfit, change your sim plan outfits, or you can actually choose to change your baby's outfit as well. Do wonder if that would potentially maybe work for a toddler as well. Infants are too big for a bassinet. Try a crib instead. Add a baby mobile. You can do birds and space. So still the same two that we've always been able to do on cots. Nothing new added there. Tristan actually looks like he's gonna go play with the goth house. I was wondering if maybe they were gonna have like little goth dolls. I mean, I can zoom in on this sim and you lot can let me know if she looks familiar in any of the like goth or bachelor lineage. Have infants always been able to play with the stacking blocks as soon as they can like sit up? I've never ever had them do that. Obviously doesn't get up any skills the way it does for toddlers, but they can like chew on them. You can't interact with the plushie. It is just a viewable object, so it is just for decoration. I kind of wish that they did more with the teddies in this game, and the bookcase is actually a bookcase. When it comes to smaller clutter, they still only have like the same slots available. There's not like multiple slots over here, so you can't make it look like really bunched up with a bunch of things on it. However, there are multiple different slots for this shelf up here. Moving on to the artist studio kit. These are all the assets that we get in this one. You kind of have this like plywood wall. I have to say, I wasn't a huge fan of this when I first saw it, because I was like, it feels similar to a lot of the stuff that we already have, but I will say I quite like the way it looks in game. Like, it actually feels like quite high quality, and it feels like they've taken base game stuff and like shaved it down and made it look better. Stepladder shelf with a couple of little doodles around it. Interested to see if this works as a bookcase. I imagine it's not going to if they didn't refer to it as a bookcase. This standalone sink, which very much gives me school sink vibes in an art classroom. There are also variants that do have like nasty paint. Again, with this one, there are a couple of different like messy swatches with like paint splatters all over it. I really like this like locker storage. I think this is really cool. I don't know why I'm such a fan of it, but I think it looks really good. This is kind of what I mean by like high quality, like the attention to detail, even where like old stickers have been and like peeled off, and then you also have like paper under here. Just looks really cool, and I can imagine using this in like a bunch of different places. There's this like oil paint cabinet where I imagine all your like different oil paints are in here. Regular swatch, and then a messy swatch for I think pretty much all of these swatches, which is quite nice. A rolling drying rack. A trusted companion, this storage cabinet will dry your precious works of art and supply new canvases for your next great masterpiece. This also reminds me of school with like the craft paper all in its like set drawers. Matching, once again, cohesive swatches between all of these assets. I'm not going to keep on going on about it. I think we're all matching. A stool for you to put some artwork on. We do get a new easel, which I personally think was like a little bit unnecessary. I don't think we really needed a new easel. I was kind of hoping when I saw like artist studio kit, it may focus on a different form of art medium, like pottery or something of that nature, but it is predominantly like painting. I think I just don't use like creative painting sims as much as I once used to. We did get a new woodworking table, which I am so happy about. I wish that they allowed us to make different furniture. I wish that this was updated with a bunch of packs that we have in the game. You can't even like paint furniture, so like it doesn't actually canonically make sense that there's all kind of painting all over here. here, but I guess it does give you the option to use this just as a decoration as well. You have another set of stools where you can actually place things down if you want your Sims to paint from reference, including like this flower. You can put that on either stool. I was hoping that the box was also gonna be usable, but it is not. Don't really know why they included that box if you can do anything with it. Speaking of the flowers, you do have these lilies. Not the dying swatch with the petals falling off. That's quite cool. And then also like a cracked vase. You have a jug with like apples. Again, there's some more like rotten looking fruit with the cracked vase. This, I'm assuming, is a drawing tablet, but we will check that out. It honestly looks like it's made from like recycled stuff. Looks like it could have probably occurred in Eco Lifestyle, and I would not have batted an eye if it was. Paint swatches for the floor. This one has like hand and footprints. Who let the dogs out? These are actually really nice. Usually these kind of paint things have newspaper under them. Now you can just like add newspaper probably and then add these on top if you like layer them correctly. There's this body, which again you can use as like a paint for reference if you want to. Sculpted by the gods. A stack of notebooks and scrapbooks. You got a ruler in there to mix all your paint up. Little palettes with little post-it notes underneath, and then also just a butt ton of paintbrushes. And then you have this little artist space with this backdrop and a light, which actually gives like really cool lighting. If we actually get rid of these, you'll be able to see it a little bit more, that it is actually very directional light. It means you can get like really cool shadowing. It kind of works the same way as the Moschino lights when it came to photography. Then you do have some art up on the walls, loads of kind of like body references, hand references, some more classic art with like oil painting vases and fruits, more tattoo illustration designs. You have a raven holding a key, the Grim Reaper, obviously. This shady looking sim. The Freezer Bunny looking at what looks to be a werewolf or something. Freezer Bunny lost out in the woods. And then some more light-hearted swatches. Finally, there's this little shelf over here, which is just like more art supplies where you can throw up your apron. This does have an emotional aura. I'm assuming it is an inspired aura, so I'm gonna go send my sim to stand by it. None of these are usable as bookcases. This is a drawing tablet. You can do the classic painting or the figure painting. High performance upgrade. It is inspiring decor, which I don't know if any of the other easels that we have actually have that emotional aura tied to them. This is the pre-built room. For the art kit, you do actually have little pieces of like base game here. Oh, he is on him. Have they added him using move objects? Because he was not going on there for me. And then this is the pre-built nursery for the nursery kit. Again, you got a couple of like base game items. I like how they've matched these together. That actually looks really cool. I like the way that it fits in together when all of it's here. Right, sir, what painting did you do? That one right there. Doesn't look like a digital painting. Doesn't look any different from the other canvases that we have. I am more of a fan of the art one than I was expecting to be. I still don't think it was like particularly necessary. If you do have like a lot of creative sims and you wanted more of that stuff, then I guess. I do like that we got a new woodworking table. I do wish that we just had like new woodwork actually available on it. I'm always gonna say it, but justice for the woodworking table. I wish that we could craft little cots and bassinets for our kids. I wish that we could craft our own wedding archers. I just think there's so much more that they could do with that. I wish if we were higher in handiness, then we could actually make better looking furniture than what we can currently make. I do like the little stools that you can paint from reference from. It's not the most game-changing thing in the world though, because you could just use different tables and use move objects to get that kind of still life drawing art class feeling anyway without this kit. The nursery one, again, I don't really feel like the gothic element was really what we needed more of when it came to nurseries. I do already feel like you can kind of create a gothic looking like kids room and nursery without this kit. I personally probably would have gone for another theme, but I do like the references to The Sims 2. In general, I think we need more theming for kids rooms and below. know, which is why I'm probably feeling that way, because one just doesn't feel like enough, especially when I kind of already felt we could get it potentially just without these exact items. But let me know your thoughts on both of these kits down below. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.